Machop Community Day Classic is coming up in Pokemon Go, and it is actually more important than you think. And by the end of this video, you'll know everything the event has to offer and the best tips to help you make the most of it. So the event does take place on May 24th between 2 PM and 5 PM local time. But what exactly does this event have to offer? Well, for the bonuses, Machop will be appearing more frequently in the wild, and they will have a boosted 1 in 25 shiny rate. So definitely a great time to get this shiny family if you've not got it yet. You will also get 3 times Stardust for catching Pokemon, Lures and Incense will last for 3 hours, excluding daily incense, and you'll get some snapshot photobomb encounters with Machop. And while these bonuses are useful, there are some ways to make them even better, but more on that later. And evolving Machoke from the start of the event until May 31st at 10 PM local time, you will be able to get a Machamp that knows the charge attack Payback. And I will be going through how good Machamp is in Pokemon Go later on, and whether or not it's worth getting Payback, so stay tuned for that. There will be field research tasks to catch Machop that will reward Stardust, Great Balls, and additional encounters with Machop. And if you're lucky, you might find some field research that rewards encounters with Machop that has the special Might and Mastery background. And you can also guarantee an encounter with Machop with this background. So starting on the day of the event, you will receive a timed research that will last for a week following the event. Completing these tasks will get you an encounter with Machop with the special background, and they will also have the same boosted Community Day shiny rates of 1 in 25. And this timed research is pretty easy to do, you just need to catch a Pokemon on 5 different days following the Community Day. And make sure you keep your biggest Machop for Pokestop showcases that will be available throughout the event. You can also purchase a $2 event ticket in the in-game shop, and it will get you additional encounters with Machop, a premium battle pass, a rare candy XL, and 3 encounters with Machop with the special seasonal background. This special research ticket will also be available in an Ultra Community Day box on the web store for the same price, and you'll get 2 bonus rare candies with it. So if you are going to pick up this ticket, you may as well get it from the web store where you get an extra couple of rare candies. And there is actually a way you can get another free special research that will get you some free premium items as rewards. So to do this, you need to head to the Niantic Campfire app and check the map of your local area to see if there are any meetups that are being specifically held by a community ambassador. Then when you go to the meetup, you can check in via the Niantic Campfire app and you'll receive a special research. These researches do differ depending on the type of event you're meeting up for, and for a Community Day in particular, you will be rewarded with 10 Pinat Berries for completing a party challenge, you'll get 5 Ultra Balls for trading 1 Pokemon, you'll get 5,000 XP for catching 30 Pokemon, and for completing all of these tasks, you'll get 1 Lure Module, 1 Star Piece, and 1 Incense. So honestly, some pretty nice rewards. So I will be getting into how good the event Pokemon are toward the end of the video. But first, how can you get the most of all of the bonuses that you get with this Community Day? Well, the main one here is 3 times Catch Stardust, that when paired with a Star Piece will allow you to get 450 Stardust per Machop catch, instead of the normal 100 Stardust. So this will be a great time to grind catches using the Quick Catch method, and it's worth having at least a great level buddy set as your buddy, so it can use Catch Assist when a wild Pokemon knocks back your Pokeball. But it's not only Machop you could be catching during this event to get some additional Stardust. Certain Pokemon in this game naturally give more Stardust than others. These are called Stardust boosted Pokemon. Pokemon like Paris, for example, that give 500 Stardust per catch, Trubbish that gives 750, and Ordino that gives 2100. So if you do have any of these Pokemon in your field research stack that you haven't caught yet, this would be the best time to catch them, because a 3 times Catch Stardust bonus and 4.5 times Catch Stardust if you include a Star Piece will also multiply the Stardust from these Pokemon. And if you have any evolved Pokemon in your field research stack, then now would also be a good time to pick them up as well, because a first evolution gives 300 Stardust and a second evolution gives 500 Stardust. This again will be multiplied by the Catch Stardust bonus of the event. And a 3 times Catch Stardust bonus is even better in a Community Day setting than it would be in other events. This is basically because there will indirectly be more spawns. So if you can play somewhere with a large number of Pokestops, I would highly recommend it, because with the 3-hour Lure Module bonus of Community Day, it means trainers tend to use their Lure Modules more often because they have more value. This means in more densely populated areas, you often get a lot of Pokestops lured up, and this means there are a lot more potential spawns from all of these lures, and you will be able to catch more Pokemon to get more XP, Stardust, and you'll potentially get more shinies because you'll be checking more Pokemon. So it is for this reason that I would highly recommend stocking up on Pokeballs as much as you can before this event, but if you do have limited space, then you could probably drop some potions, revives, and some berries so you can make space for Pokeballs, because at the end of the day, this is very much a catching focused event. Stocking up on a lot of Pokeballs, however, could be difficult if you live in areas where there aren't a lot of Pokestops. So for this, I would highly recommend opening the max amount of gifts you can each day from your friends leading up to the event. It is also worth using Incense during the event because again, it will be lasting for 3 hours and it will help to keep the flow of Pokemon encounters more consistent, especially if you happen to pass through an area with low spawns during during your walk. Also, if you use multiple incense while community day is active, you can actually add an extra 3 hours to your incense per incense used, but it's worth doing this if you're going to continue playing after the event ends. Now, as far as adventure effects go, there is actually quite a few options that will help you in different situations depending on what you want as a player. Firstly, you could use Origin Dialga's Roar of Time adventure effect to extend the duration of your lucky eggs, star pieces, and incense that you use on the day so you can benefit from these premium items for longer. Another option is to use Origin Palkia's Spatial Rend adventure effect, which will extend the radius of which you can encounter Pokemon. This will help you reach more Machop in a given area, and in particular it could be very useful when walking through streets that are parallel to each other, because you might be able to reach over and catch Pokemon that are spawning in neighboring streets so you don't actually have to walk through them. And it's also useful for helping to reach Pokemon in places you can't normally access because they're off limits, for example. Now, these are both very useful, but alternatively you could use Black and White Kyurem's adventure effects to help you with catching. Firstly, Black Kyurem's adventure effect Freeze Shock will stop the Pokemon from moving around as much so you can catch them more easily, and it'll increase the catch rate of Pokemon by 25%. And alternatively, White Kyurem's adventure effect slows down the catch circle when it becomes smaller. This can help you get more excellent throws, and generally this one will be better if there's a 3 times catch XP bonus. This effect also increases catch rate by 50%, which will still work when you're using auto catches as well, but out of all of these adventure effects, I would recommend Origin Dialga's Roar of Time adventure effect, so you can extend the duration of your star piece if you have limited amounts of star pieces available, but you've got a decent amount of Dialga candy. Alternatively, I would recommend Origin Palkia's Spatial Rend adventure effect, because it will allow you to interact with more Machop and quick catch more Machop in a given area. However, if you don't want to actively play this event and you're just going to use an auto catcher, it could be worth using a star piece and using White Kyurem's Iceburn adventure effect and allow the auto catcher to do its work. And there are actually some settings you can use to increase the speed of your gameplay and therefore increase the amount of catches you can get in a given time. In the advanced settings, firstly you can turn on Remember Last Use Pokeball. This is especially helpful if you want to use Great or Ultra Balls instead of Pokeballs to catch Pokemon, because it means each time you encounter another Pokemon, you'll bring out the Great or the Ultra Ball you used last time, instead of starting with a Pokeball and having to navigate the menu each time. And selecting native refresh rate can also give you smoother gameplay, because the refresh rate won't be capped based on the game, it'll be based on your phone. This, however, could drain more battery from your phone. And as always, you can get a bit of extra XP and Stardust from taking part in Pokestop showcases, and if you do rank highly, you can get some premium items like Lucky Eggs and Star Pieces that you can use to get more XP and Stardust. And despite there being no XP bonuses for this event, if you are out grinding Stardust, you may as well use Lucky Eggs if you've got plenty of them, so you can get over 2000 XP per catch with an excellent throw. However, if you don't have many Lucky Eggs, then I would save them for 3 times catch XP community days in the future to get maximum value. Now, whilst this event is definitely worth playing for the bonuses, how good are the event Pokemon? Well, Machamp is actually a pretty decent budget raid attacker. It's the 21st best fighting type attacker, and in its shadow form it's the 9th best, so generally not a bad Pokemon to have, especially as it is so accessible. And the fighting type in particular is one of the more useful types for raid attacking, because there are quite a lot of raid bosses weak to fighting. So if you are a newer player, getting a team of Machamp for raids isn't a bad idea. And for raid attacking, you will want 100% IVs. So from research, you are looking for a Machop with 548 CP, which is at level 15. From the wild at the max level of 30, this is without a weather boost, you're looking for 1096 CP, and max level with a cloudy weather boost at level 35 will be 1187 CP. Other than these values mentioned, I recommend checking your inventory regularly with a 4-star search to see if you picked up any hundos. It's especially worth doing this before you transfer any. And just before I go through the current Go Battle League rankings and PvP IVs to look out for, it's worth noting that for Go Battle League you don't always want 100% IVs, because sometimes you do want a lower attack IV so you can power up the Pokemon more, increasing its defense and HP before reaching the Battle League CP cap, because out of the 3 stats, attack does increase the CP of the Pokemon the most, so if you have a lower attack, you've got more room to increase the CP before the CP cap. This leads to a bulkier Pokemon overall that can take more hits and potentially land more attacks. So in the Great League, Machamp is ranked 100 and ranked 63 as a Shadow with 0, 14, 11 IVs. In the Ultra League, it's ranked 119 and ranked 61 as a Shadow with 0, 15, 14. And finally, in the Master League, it's ranked 154 and 101 as a Shadow. So generally not a bad Pokemon to have for Go Battle League, but 2 of its recommended moves are legacy moves that can only be obtained by Elite TM, and neither are featured during this event, unfortunately. However, using Payback instead of Stone Edge could be useful in some settings as a coverage move for Machamp. Payback does also see some play on Machamp in the Master League Premier, and in this league Machamp is ranked 33 and ranked 19 as a Shadow. And for the max battles, the day after this event will be GMAX Machamp Battle Day, taking place between 2 PM and 5 PM local time. And whilst GMAX Pokemon Pokemon previously weren't very accessible, they will now be able to be remote raided, so there is a lot more chance you will be able to get your hands on G-Max Machamp. And you will want it as well because it is the best fighting type Pokemon for max battles, so well worth getting this, and it does make Machop Community Day Classic even more valuable because it is a great time to get candy for Machop, so you can power up G-Max Machamp and unlock and power up its max moves. So this means Candy and Candy XL for Machop will be very valuable, but how can you maximize it during this event? So you can always use Pinat Berries to increase candy gains, and you can Mega Evolve a Pokemon that shares a type with the Pokemon you're catching to increase the amount of Candy, Candy XL and XP you get per catch. And as Machop is a fighting type, you can Mega Evolve Heracross, Blaziken, Medicham, Lopunny, Lucario or Gallade. And remember to pick whichever one you do have at the max Mega level, so you will get more Candy, XP and chance for Candy XL. It's also well worth trading your Machop because you will get a guaranteed Candy XL per trade this season. And even without XP bonuses, community days are a great time to grind for XP for leveling up, and to get to level 49 you do need 35 platinum medals, and community days tend to be some of the best events for getting a lot of these medals. Firstly, with Machop being a fighting type, it's a good chance to work on your platinum black belt medal. With lures lasting for 3 hours, it's a good time to work on your platinum picnicker medal, especially if you play in populated areas because a lot of people will be catching off your lure modules. Remember to get your snapshot photobomb encounters with Machop during this event, and this will help you progress your cameraman platinum medal. And if you don't know how to get a snapshot photobomb encounter, you just have to go to a Pokemon in your inventory or your buddy Pokemon, click on the camera icon and take the picture of the Pokemon. And then on the picture, Machop will photobomb it, and when you go back to the overworld map screen, the Machop will spawn at your avatar's location. And it's generally worth trading your Machop with somebody to try to get lucky trades and reroll IVs for Go Battle League, and this will help you with your Platinum Gentleman and Pilot medals. With so many Machop spawning in the wild and off lure modules, you will probably come across quite a few XXL and XXS Machop that will help you progress your Jumbo and Tiny Collector medals. With showcases being available, it's a good chance to try and work on your Showcase Star medal if you happen to win any. And as field research is always easy to do during Community Day, it's usually just catch 3 of the featured Pokemon. It can be very helpful with getting your Platinum Pokemon Ranger medal, and generally field research is worth doing to get Hundos or Shundos anyway because of the 10-10-10 IV floor. And if you enjoyed this video, check out one of the other videos on screen now, and I'll catch you in the next one.